Okay, ladies and gentlemen, today I'm going to read Hop to It, Fancy Footwork. Follow along. Looking for a fun outdoor game? Grab a piece of chalk, a stone, and a friend. What can you play? Hopscotch. The first hopscotch courts were made around 2,000 years ago. Imagine a hopscotch court 100 feet long, about the length of a professional basketball court. That's how big the first courts were. They were not made for fun either. Instead, they were used for training exercise. Roman soldiers would dress in heavy armor and run from one end of the court to the other and back again. This exercise helped them stay quick on their feet. Hopping around the world. Roman children watched the soldiers and imitated them. They drew smaller courts on the ground with chalk and made their own rules. Hopscotch became a game. Their game was simple to learn yet challenging to play. It quickly became popular throughout Europe. Later, it spread to Asia and America. In every country, children changed the game in their own way. In France, the court is drawn in the shape of a snail. In Bolivia, the squares in the court are named for the days of the week. In the United States, hopscotch is played in many ways. For example, in Alaska, the squares are not named or numbered. Hopscotch is a simple game with a long history. Over the centuries, it has spread all over the world. Hopscotch proves that the simplest games are often the most popular. How to play. To play a game of traditional hopscotch, all you need is one traditional hopscotch court. You can draw one with chalk, one stone, and two or more people. Make sure all the players know these rules. A player must toss the stone into every square in sequence. Players must land with only 1 foot in any square. Players can't land on a line. Players can't hop into any square that is holding the stone. A player's end or turn ends if he or she breaks any of the above rules or if the stone doesn't land in the right square when it is tossed. When it's your turn, toss the stone into square 1, then hop on one leg into square 2. Next, jump into square 3 and 4 so that your left foot is in square 3 and your right foot is in square 4. Continue to hop and jump to the end of the court, making sure only 1 foot lands in each square. Now, turn around in the home square and hop back to the beginning of the court, pausing to pick up the stone in square 1 before you hop out. Once you've completed the first pass through the court, toss the stone into square 2 and hop through the court again, hopping over the square that has your stone in it and picking up the stone on your way back. Continue throwing your stone into the next square and hopping through the court again until you step on a line or fall. Then it's your next player's turn. When it's your turn again, continue by tossing the stone into the last square you aimed for. The first player who is able to hop through the course with his or her stone in the last square is the winner. Hopping in France. In the French hopscotch game, no stone is used. The player hops through the spiral shape that is from square 1 to square 17. Then the player hops back to the beginning, chooses a square, and writes his or her initials inside it. The other players must hop over the square. The game is over when it becomes too hard for anyone to hop to the center. The player whose initials are written inside the most squares is the winner. An Alaskan pastime. In the Alaskan version of hopscotch, the court has a side pocket. The player stands inside the side pocket and tosses the stone into the first square. The player then hops diagonally into the second square, skipping the square holding the stone, and hops to the end of the court. The player hops back to the second square, picks up the stone, hops out, and gives the stone to the next player. That player tosses the stone into the second square and repeats the pattern. If a player tosses the stone and it does not end in a square, that player is out. The players repeat the pattern until one person is left, the winner.